Welcome to Coin Jive, where we talk about what's on our mind. And I was thinking, what is normal exactly? How many times have we heard or used the phrase, that's not normal? The concept of normal is so deeply ingrained in our psyche that we seldom stop to question its validity. But what is normal really? And how does it differ from being normative? We published a blog post yesterday on this subject at thecoinblog.com. The link is in the description. Check it out. The term normal is often thrown around loosely, used without truly understanding its implications. We might use it to denote what seems to be typical, or what is seen as typical or habitual or routine. Biologically speaking, normal signifies the state of an organism operating as expected. However, the fascinating aspect of biology is its inherent diversity. Each living being is born with genetic variations that slightly alter them from the so-called ideal. These aren't necessarily detrimental, and they don't make you a bad person, but rather a testament to the marvels of genetic diversity. A Zen master a long time ago was credited as having said, "I'm perfect. I'm perfectly myself." How many of us actually think that we are perfect because we are perfectly ourselves? Now, I don't think that that means that we should just accept our faults and shortcomings. We should always strive to become better. But also, I think that we should not beat ourselves up over not being perfect at any given moment. I know that I do this a lot. I beat myself up constantly over my shortcomings, not only current shortcomings, but past mistakes. And if we could find some balance between the idea of I'm perfect because I'm perfectly myself, and I understand that I have shortcomings and I'm working hard to correct them, then I think that maybe that would be the perfect place to be. So many times we are judged or judge others for not being normal. We think this group or that group is bad because they aren't from what we consider to be normal. They aren't a part of the group that we would consider to be normal. But I hate to be the one to break it to you. You aren't normal either. No one is normal. Most people learn over time to behave normatively to cover up their lack of normalcy and fit in better, but no one is actually normal. Just think about all of the little secrets that you keep from others about yourself. Your desires and fantasies, fears, paranoias, obsessions, strange beliefs, strange impulses. We all have them, and if you made all of them known, you would be considered not normal too. So the next time you find yourself judging another group or another person for not being normal, or finding them offensive because they don't fit into your idea of what is normal, think about how they would think of you if they knew all of your little secrets. Let's look at the concept of normative, which is quite distinct from normal. Normal, which has biological underpinnings, is something that we label, this is what we would expect to be the typical. But normative is a concept derived from society. It's the set of standards, principles, or rules that are deemed acceptable or preferred in a given community. In simple terms, it's the societal blueprint of how things ought to be. But It's important to remember that normative is an ever-changing idea. It's as fluid as the society that creates it. It varies greatly across cultures and eras. For example, certain behaviors seen as normative in one culture might be viewed as something horrible in another. Similarly, what was considered normative a few decades ago might not be viewed the same way today. This highlights the arbitrary nature of normative standards, indicating that they are far from universal. These societal norms have a big impact on our lives. They shape our behaviors and our values, even our sense of identity and self-worth. We're all in some way or another boxed in by these expectations and standards set by society. Yet this box isn't rigid, it's adaptable and can be redesigned as society evolves. However, this constant adaptation doesn't mean it's always beneficial. So let's look at that. What are the perils of conforming to normative standards? On the surface, adhering to societal norms may seem like a harmless act, perhaps even one that brings order and chaos. However, this act of uniformity can harbor potential pitfalls. The danger lies in the repression of individuality and the discouragement of diversity. This can inadvertently birth a culture where distinctiveness is viewed negatively, leading to the propagation of stereotypes and even discriminatory practices. The extremes of adhering strictly to societal norms can also incite mental health challenges. A constant striving for conformity can breed intense pressure, leading to feelings of anxiety and depression and worthlessness. The normative becomes a strict mold that individuals feel compelled to fit into, often at the expense of their own mental well-being. Adhering too strictly to these societal standards can also have a stifling effect on personal growth. It can hinder creativity, thwart innovation, and limit exploration. This is because people may be too afraid to veer off the well-trodden path, fearing the judgment and ostracization that may come with it. As such, this fixation on conformity to the normative can potentially derail one's journey of self-discovery and personal growth. In essence, too strict an adherence to societal norms can inadvertently suppress our inherent uniqueness and individuality. The beauty lies in our unique quirks and attributes. These deviations from the normative make us who we are. So let's embrace our individuality within reason, of course. We are all one of a kind, a mosaic of traits and passions and peculiarities, which make us extraordinary and special. These unique facets that deviate from the societal normative don't signify an abnormality, but symbolize an individuality. It's our distinctive laughter, or our uncommon hobbies, or unconventional dreams, or even our quirkiest idiosyncrasies that paint the canvas of who we are as individuals. Cherishing this individuality isn't just about self-acceptance. It's about revealing or reveling in the uniqueness that sets us apart. It's about acknowledging our exclusive traits and harnessing them to add color and vibrancy to our lives. It's about flaunting our distinctive stripes in a world that often encourages us to blend in. So, the idea of normal can be challenging. We need to unravel the layers of normal and normative And it's important that we question and challenge these ideas. We ought to remember that normal is merely a biological notion that embraces inherent diversity. And normative is a social construct subject to change with evolving societies. The interesting question that we should be asking is, why should we conform to a socially defined normative and suppress our inherent individuality? Instead of giving in to societal pressure to fit in neatly into a predefined box, we maybe should celebrate our unique traits and peculiarities. This doesn't mean to disregard all societal norms and conventions. It means that we should urge a thoughtful reconsideration and critical evaluation of norms. As society's attitudes and perceptions evolve, it is inevitable that norms will be modified, adapted, or entirely redefined. And it's up to us to ensure that these changes foster a sense of inclusivity and respect for diversity. The focus should be on nurturing a society that doesn't stigmatize or marginalize those who dare to diverge from the normative, but rather one that applauds them for their courage to be authentically themselves. So let's step up, challenge the normative, and spearhead a wave of change that values individuality over conformity. Let's champion a culture that prizes the normal in every one of us, our unique genetic variations, our quirks, our passions, our dreams. Because in the end, it's these idiosyncrasies that make us who we are, distinctively and wonderfully made. And that, in truth, is the most extraordinary kind of normal. Join us on thecoinblog.com for more insights. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.